All right, so I want to go ahead and take a look at the pass blocking and run blocking grades for Monday Night Football versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, our offensive line, outside of like the first early part of the game where they were struggling a tad bit, they were, oh my lordy, were they good. And you could see this is easily, not even a question, the best offensive line performance we had all year, except for that Cardinals game. That Cardinals game was close, but we had overall 3 players in the 80s, guys, for pass blocking grade. 3. Which is, I mean, we haven't had that all year long. We have had 2 versus Seahawks. We had Orlando Brown and Kappa, who were in the 80s. But other than that, no. We have not had 3 players in the 80s all year long. So, goes to show, credit to not only Jake Browning for absolutely going off in that game and showing why he could be a future starter in this league. If not, until Joe gets back, he's going to be the starter for us, obviously. But with all that being said, our line definitely helped him out a lot. And that's a really good thing to look at and see, right? Because he did hold the ball a little bit too long in the early part of that game. But as the game went along, he started getting into his rhythm. Things started going, and things started escalating very well. Now, again, we run the ball 31 times. We passed the ball. We had 43 passing snaps, and we had a total of 31 rushing snaps. So, when you run the ball, pass the ball enough, it all balances out, right? Everything works in unison here. Pass game opens up the run game. Run game opens up the pass game. Play action game opens up because you get good running the football, etc., right? Everything works together. So, the offensive line, because we were getting going, doing everything perfect, our line hit a Teddy K with an 83.7. Now, pass rushing percentage is how many times the guy got past the player and just ran right through him like a drive-through. Usually, Cordell Volson is the guy that gets absolutely demolished every single week. My man came in here at 76.5. Did give a 2.32 percentage pass rushing grade. Orlando Brown, 81.1. Alex Kappa, 83.1. Now, let's just cover the elephant in the room. There's an elephant, and he's in the room. And it's Jonah Williams. Yeah. He got a 36, man. He got a 36. It's not good. It's not good. And these are moments where, again, I feel like I kind of go back to the point of why would we ever cut La'el Collins when, it's good to have backups. It's good to have depth. It's good to have something, right? Because, yeah, Jonah's not working in that game. And throughout the last couple of games, what we've been doing when our line has been struggling is we've been putting in Cody Ford in different scenarios on the right side to help Jonah Williams. We've been doing that constantly throughout the last couple of games. What would be better than putting in Cody Ford? La'el Collins. Yeah, and he's still a free agent. You can still pick him up right now, add him to your roster, and he could be a nice guy to fill in if Jonah is having problems. And again, Jonah, going back last week, last week he had 27.4, 12.12 when it comes to time percentage of the plays that he's getting blown past and just running right past him. 12.12% of the time. That is insane. And this is the second week now he's struggling very badly in a game that we need to win, right? So again, Bengals, pick up La'el Collins again. There's nothing you will lose from this. Get him on a 1-year contract. No one else is going to sign him right now. I guarantee you he wouldn't mind playing for us again. He didn't ask to get cut. That's the big thing here. He never asked to leave us. We got rid of him because they said for business reasons. Because they just wanted more money toward the cap. And I understand that, but at the same time, sign him back to a veteran minimum, nothing guaranteed, and see what he'll do. I mean, the worst thing he can do is if you have another game, again this week against the Colts, where Jonah's going out there putting up a 27 or a 36, at least now you have someone to go in there and maybe block correctly, and you won't have to deal with that. You don't have to put in Cody Ford. You can put in the actual guy that is a good player. So there's really no reason not to. And I'm not saying this is in like, oh, bench Jonah Williams. Heck no, you're not going to bench Jonah Williams. Because just because 2 games are bad doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, 70.6, right? That was pretty bad. That was actually really horrendous. But then like 68.7. He's been pretty... He has not been that good this year. I forgot how bad or average Jonah has been this year. Yeah. Maybe look as an extra option, okay? That's what I'll say. Put in the line. Put in, instead of Cody Ford, put in La'el Collins if you need to have the extra guy on the right-hand side. Because right now, he's becoming a huge liability. And if you're trying to go for a playoff push, which is what Cincinnati is trying to do, I know we shouldn't go for a play. Listen, we're not tanking. We're going for the playoffs. We're going for a Super Bowl. The mentality does not stop after, just because we're having a stretch where we're not doing good. Mentality keeps going, no matter what. Next man up mentality. Jake Browning has shown that he can take us to the playoffs. Not sure if he can take us to a Super Bowl, but you know what? No, I know. Fluff that. He is going to take us to a Super Bowl. I don't care. He is going to take us to a Super Bowl. We're going to have to back him up. So, and that's what I will say moving forward. We just got to have confidence in Jake. Jake can do it, man. Jake can get the job done. If he beats Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead, it will officially become Browning Head. And that would be amazing. Let's talk about the run game. Run blocking, we ran the ball 31 times, the most of the whole entire year. Joe Mixon had 19 rushes. Obviously, he had 19 rushes. We had Chase Brown actually got involved, which is amazing. Love to see it. Good job, guys. Finally getting him involved. Kappa and Volson did the best. And you know what? I got to give full credit here to Cordell Volson. Because while most of the time this year, he has been a revolving door, a drive-through, if you will. Week 1, worst. Week 2, the worst. Week 3, the worst. Week 4, second worst. Week 5, the worst. Week 6, actually did pretty good. Shout out to him for that. Week 8, the second worst. Week 9, second worst. Week 10, he skated by not getting a red. Week 11, worse. Week 12, I have Teddy K on here twice. I just realized that. Yeah. My apologies. That's Cordell Volson. There we go. And also, he plays left guard. All right. Third, okay, he coolly got 65.2. And then obviously this week, he got a 76.5. So I got to give him credit. Because I have been trashing him all year long. For good reason, okay? I'm not going to trash a player who's playing good or average. The guy has been a revolving door. But in that game, the game we need the most, he has been pretty solid. That, obviously, great pass blocking. And then run blocking was pretty good, too. Teddy K came in at 61.7. Jonah, 50.9. And Orlando Brown, 42.8. So, again, listen, right? I always say this when it comes to grades, because you can't always go 1,157% about grades. Grades will tell only part of the story. I'm not say part, I say half the story. Obviously, the other half is how the game flow went, right? If you're down by 60 points and all your grades are horrendous, you're like, well, no dip, Sherlock. We were getting destroyed. No wonder our line sucked. Like, look at the Titans game. We got destroyed that game. Our line actually didn't perform that bad. I just realized this has to be red, too. There we go. Our line wasn't the worst thing in the world. They weren't great, but we were getting destroyed in that game. This wasn't a game where we were getting destroyed. And if it wasn't for the fact that we gave this team, and I say this as extreme as possible, we gave them a free touchdown, number one. We gave them a second free touchdown. We gave them one touchdown because Tyler Boyd almost threw a pick six to Josh Allen. Give him a second touchdown because Dak still had an interception that he dropped, and it was caught on a miracle play in the end zone by their guy. 2 touchdowns we gave up, and then we gave up a field goal we should have had. We gave up 17 points in this game. 17. So this isn't a game where you can look at it and say, okay, whoa, guys, hold up. You know, like we were getting beat in this game. In all honesty, we kind of outplayed them in every way possible. We just made stupid mistakes, a couple critical mistakes, which got them back in the game and got them to, you know, obviously almost win this game. So again, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not saying the Jags are a great team, obviously. I'm not trying to trash them and disrespect them. My point is, though, this is not a game you can look at and say, oh, well, you know, we were just playing bad. We were playing amazing. Like, this is the game you look at on tape and you go, see? You see what you guys can do? You see what you guys can do? Like, that's you. That's what we need every week. So, yeah, it's, again, like I said, at the end of the day, so when you look at these stats and these grades, again, it doesn't always tell the full story, but when half the story is what I just said, and the other half is the grades, it's pretty accurate, okay? It's pretty accurate to what we should expect to look at and say, okay, this is what we should see. So when you look at it like 72.3, this is great. This is kind of mid. Now, again, these situations, run blocking and run game is always, well, I just told the whole entire story, right? But the run game is also, sometimes running grades is kind of iffy too. And the reason why I say is because, well, yes, like I just said, the story part is half of it, right? That whole thing I just said kind of remarks for the whole game and a lot of passing. Run game, yes, it can also be that side of the story, but you also look at the fact that run game, if you run in bad situations, you run against stacked boxes, you run against, you know, a blitz, you run on the goal line, stuff like that can always sway those numbers. So I should say it like this, that 50% is grades. If 50% is actually what happened, and then I'd say about 40% is what is the storyline of how the game went, and then 10% is coaching. I'll say that for run blocking, because I think there is a 10% of coaching you got to put in there. Because if you call a bad run on a bad play, or you call a run against a sack box, you call a toss play, and they're blitzing 8 people, well, what do you expect to happen? And in the end, the pass blocking grade, the run blocking grade on that is going to look awful. But yeah, it's going to look awful because you ran it against a bad system, a bad scenario. So I would say for run blocking, 50% grade is accurate, 40% is the game flow, the storyline, 10% is just coaching. Pass blocking, for the main part, it could be scheme, it could be coaching, but I say I'll put 1% on coaching with pass blocking. Mainly that does come down to 49% scenario, game flow, 50% is probably accurate. So that's kind of how I look at it, guys. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, though. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.